Hey guys, Sam Leverson here with Edina Realty, joined by Shane Hoffman with Edina Realty Mortgage.
You got it right.
I got it right on the first time. Usually we're struggling because we're recording on a Wednesday morning instead of a Monday morning.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's it.
Well,
See?
Maybe that should be our new thing.
Clear thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? A little fuzzy on Mondays, right?
And today we are joined by Edina Realty's president, Sherry Schmidt. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Super, super, super excited. You're always so insightful. And we can say things all day long, but when it's coming from someone else,
even if it's the same exact thing we just said, right?
It hits a little bit different.
Yep.
And
sometimes we got to hear it from different voices, different perspectives.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of nice because you definitely look at a broader market than we do since we're more hyper-local. So, super excited to dive in. Everyone's been talking about it. Housing crash. Housing bubble. Is it going to pop? Mm-hmm. Is it going to crash? What's happening? Rates are going up. Home prices are going up. Can we keep going up?
All the negatives.
Everyone's just in a sheer panic right now. And obviously we know that there's so much different than 2008, which everyone is just comparing it to. There's obviously some very eerie similarities, but what's your take on it?
Well, going back to a comment you made about people being in a panic, yeah. I would rephrase that. I mean, from the standpoint of people look at it, obviously housing and shelter is one of the biggest components to security, stability for all of us. And so what's happened in the last couple of years, and you watch the inflationary pressures, including in housing, that does get unnerving for people as you look at, can I buy my first home? I've had that conversation with a number of young people as far as, sure, am I going to be able to buy a home, and what is that going to look like? And the big question that everybody asks, since it came up so quickly, is it going to go down as quickly, and when is that going to happen? Sure. And of course, none of us know with 100% certainty what's going to happen with the market. We don't. What we do know is that, historically speaking, and over the last several years, as far as appreciation goes, it was pretty modest. I mean, there was some modest appreciation, and so some of that surge has been a creation of that, but some of it is some inflationary components and pressures on the housing market. And so I think a big thing for everybody to remember, and this was actually put out there by a number of different sources that I like to follow and that we follow as an organization. But in general, where you have high demand and low supply, you rarely find a bubble.
Right.
And I think that's the thing, and for everybody that's watching, I think that's the thing to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
And that's the piece for us really to keep an eye on. I know that's what we're watching. And, as far as, there's some back and forth debate that is going on in the housing market right now. And I know this is going to sound kind of crazy to put it out there, but are we undersupplied? Which everybody would say, yes, we absolutely are. But there are some experts out there that make a pretty compelling case, Ivy Zellman being one of them, for the fact that we potentially could be in the process or on the verge of overbuilding. So that's something that we're watching closely. But again, I go back to, is there going to be this cliff and our prices just, going to drop? Right. Again, when you've got high demand and low supply, generally speaking, you're not going to see that type of a
basic law of supply and demand.
And we're still sitting with multiple offers, right? So that just means how many buyers are losing out that are still in the market, So you're right.
And that's a big difference from, when people want to compare it to the mid 2000s and when we saw the great, the bubble crashed. It literally crashed. It burst at that point. And the market took a dive. And the big difference there is we had a ton of supply. We had a lot of supply, and it was also driven by ARM products. And that's something I wanted to share too, because we're starting to hear, and we're gonna hear more about people moving to ARM products. And the ARM product today is not the same ARM product, and
not even close.
we're sitting across from the expert right now on that.
Yeah.
And so it's very different. And so for people that are listening or watching, to think about, oh, I can't do an ARM product because those are bad.
Right.
It's a different product, and really that's where I think you would echo that. That's where you need to reach out to your loan.
Well, and so much of ARM products back in the day was even just qualifying at the low rate, and now they have to qualify at what the max would be if it would hit, So like, there's just no unqualified people anymore to buy, right? It's impossible. So there isn't, lending, I think, was the biggest driver, or one of the biggest drivers, of course. Of the crash, and now people complain that it's too stringent.
Right.
So it's just so different. And luckily I survived that, but I was part of that at that time, and it was breathe on a mirror and you got a loan, or straight to close type of scenarios. It's just crazy when you think about it now.